哦，儿子啊，不过我这个儿子很棒，他总是让我很放心，很积极的去面对人生。
I found out my cancer when I was back in Malaysia. After studying, I came back to Malaysia. Then I found out there's a lump in guinal, so left leg, upper left leg. So at that time, I thought it was nothing. So it's just a lump, a swollen lump.
我记得在2020年7月的时候，我儿子跟我讲：“妈咪，你来看一下我脚这边有一粒东西。”我就讲：“哎，给我看一下。”那时候我记得晚上是7点多8点。吃饱饭过后，就咪你看一下这边有一粒东西哦，我去摸看一下，哎，大概是这样子，小小粒，很小很小而已。我摸了，我说，哎，痛吗？他讲不痛，不痛 ，OK， 我们现在就马上就要去看 clinic。我是一个很小心的妈妈来的，不管什么小事情，我都会把它很关注那一件事情，所以我马上就带他去看医生。8月3号，就是他的diagnosis那个 result 出来，我很记得那一天就是8月3号，在医生面前，他跟我讲 Sarcoma， 我还不知道 Sarcoma 是什么，他跟我讲那个是一种肿瘤，是恶性肿瘤。当然，在孩子面前尽量忍着不哭，是担心他会怕。可是我的儿子很棒，他回家跟我讲，妈咪。很多人就去外面就不回家了，我还有机会医的，因为他这一句话让我很释怀，让我很可以去接受，跟他一起去对抗这个癌症。
When he told me about that, I felt very sad because I have never expected that someone who is this young can actually caught a cancer. Because I am actually I studied pharmacy, so when I known him, I'm actually a pharmacy student. So by the time I know he has cancer, I also tried to use my knowledge to tell him what you can do, like your lifestyle wise, what you should do to prolong your life, yeah, and then give him support.
Then I went to a few doctors for consultation, and SBRT was one of the options. And we found out AARO in Singapore. One of the doctors actually recommended Dr. David from Asian Alliance Radiation Oncology, AARO. Dr. David explained to me very detailed about the pros and cons.
Now in March 2023, he had a restaging scan to assess his response to chemotherapy. But unfortunately, the scan showed that while some of the lung nodules had responded and shrunk from the chemotherapy, there were, however, a few nodules in the lung that had actually grown and become more active despite chemotherapy. Now, this is what we call a mixed response, where a proportion of cancer cells are sensitive to the chemotherapy, whereas another percentage of cells, they have actually mutated and become resistant to the first-line chemotherapy. An option or a strategy that has been increasingly recognized over the last decade and practiced by oncologists, and for which there is a growing body of evidence. And this strategy is where we use aggressive local therapy, such as stereotactic body radiotherapy, to target only the resistant cells that have not responded to the chemotherapy. And if we manage to achieve our goals of destroying the resistant cells, then potentially the patient would be able to move on to a period of observation without any further treatment, and to restage them with another scan in 2 to 3 months' time to ensure that both the sensitive and resistant cells remain at bay. At the same time, the patient can also recover from the effects of chemotherapy and continue his life with minimal disruption.
So the treatment plan set out was 1.5 weeks, where I need to go to ARO consistently. I decided to stay in JB, Johor Bahru, and travel into Singapore for treatment. Most of my treatment time was scheduled in afternoon with ARO, so to suit my time to travel into Singapore and skip the traffic. And during treatment, the CT scan actually showed that the nodules reduced in size. And after treatment, 3 months, 6 months, the nodules continued to decrease in size. Throughout the treatment, I feel that I'm very comforted by the care of Dr. David and ARO. The nurses there are very nice. I encountered nurse Pei Shi and Hui Ling. They were very professional in terms of care and comfort. 所以有一个有经验的 doctor 很重要。从我的开刀的医生到我的化疗的医生，到现在做电疗的 Dr. David， 在 ARO 的，我们都希望找到一个很专业、很懂他在做什么的一个医生。
当然 ，Dr. David 当是很好的医生，他解释得很清楚，用我明白的话来解释给我听。
他不会用太多专业名词让你听不懂，然后就叫你去做 treatment。如果你听不懂，你跟他说，然后他就会找一个方式来跟你解释，让你听得懂，知道你将会面对什么。这个是很重要的，所以你有心理准备，你能知道你要做什么。
So he was a very confident and a positive person, and you could really see in Oscar a desire and a drive, to face the situation head on, and to fight, this situation, to the very end. And at the same time, as he does so, he wanted to continue living his life, and enjoying all that life had to offer him.
Cancer is just a small matter in your life. You shouldn't view it as like the biggest challenge. It's the biggest challenge, but it's not because you have cancer, then it's the end of your life.
儿子啊，Daddy 妈咪陪着你。OK， 我们向前走。什么都不怕。
Life and death is a natural thing, and no one can actually run away from it. And you won't know when the timeline is gonna end. I read a book during my cancer treatment. It's called When Breath Becomes Air. There's one quote in the book that says that you are living until you die. I choose living because you need to enjoy your life.